Thank you for introducing us, our special team. So, yep. So, benign prostatic hyperplasia is incredibly common, affecting about 50% of the men over 50 years old, creating this massive and growing need for effective treatment. The aquablation therapy has rapidly expanded in the market in response. So we see about 30-fold growth in past 5 years, largely due to its ability to preserve their sexual function versus the current standard of care. Despite this momentum, there's a critical bottleneck, which is a post-operative care. Currently, we see about patients staying about 1 to 2 days inpatient due to surgery after the post-operative bleeding. And with no current dedicated monitoring tool, surgeons have to rely on their subjective judgment, often leading to longer hospital stays. Our device Prostasis is designed to close that gap. We're introducing the first real-time bleeding monitoring, and by giving clinicians that objective and continuous feedback, we aim to standardize the procedure and reduce the uncertainties of the procedure. Our team is uniquely positioned to solve this problem. We bring expertise together from the College of Pharmacy, Cockrell School of Engineering, and Dell Medical School, with our PI with representation of 5 major health organizations, including Bayer, Scott and White, and Dell Medicine. With this very strong foundation, we conducted total 22 interviews, and we interviewed spanning across urologists, patient advocates, and regulatory leaders, and all these insights helped us refine the value proposition for these stakeholders. So as you can see on the left, this is our old value proposition, where we focus more on the reduction of bleeding risk itself and an earlier discharge. But from 22 interviews, we learned that first things first, yet bleeding is important. It is only one of the several drivers for the overnight stay. So targeting bleeding alone would not be sufficient to fully shift the physician inertia. Another factor that we learned is that complication rate for the bleeding itself had reduced from 6 to 1% in the large volume centers. So that might mean that bleeding itself may not be as of a big pain point as we versus what we thought in the earlier value proposition. However, we also did learn that there's huge opportunities. There is a large unmet need in the standardization and also a huge pain point in the overnight stay cost and then sexual dysfunction and complications. So with that, I want to introduce our final value proposition that we revised from the 22 interviews, is that our device aims to shift about 80% from patient population from inpatient to outpatient surgery, and also improve the overall procedure consistency. So compared to what is in the market right now, we propose about $3,000 cost saving per case, and also able to reduce the sexual dysfunction and also increase adoption for aquablation. Our next step would include more stakeholders to interview with payers and nurses, as well as mapping out the regulatory pathway, ultimately leading to our clinical validation to prove that our device is efficacious and also effective in reducing the perioperative cost. As I wrap up, I know we're a special team, so wanting to wrap up with our key takeaway from the Nexus program is that growth really happens when you listen to your stakeholders, not defend your product, and be willing to uncover your product's weaknesses. Yeah. So with that, I'm going to introduce bring my team member to answer any questions from the audiences. Thank you.
A great presentation, and congratulations on winning the Nexus program and stuff too. I'm really curious, who do you feel like is one of your first customers that you think you'd be the most excited about to sell to?
Okay, so for our product, after talking with a lot of interviewers, we just find that actually, if you want to push our product to the market, the first one we have to let them buy our product is surgeons. So basically, we talked about the regulatory and insurance companies and the patient advocacy, but the people who decide if we want to buy is the surgeon. So at the first stage, we will try to connect with different medical centers and hospitals to try if you want to use our products.
All right. And thank you very much for your presentation.